So while I'm talking to the camera, just look at that main camera there.
Oh, look at it.
Yeah, just look at the main camera.
I was thinking that.
That's
You like not paying attention.
No, just look at the main camera.
That'd be weird if we were all staring at him while the intro went.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Crack of Dawn. Today we are in the actual gym because we just don't have enough space in our amazing studio for all these lovely people here. We are now truly at the end of the open season, culminating with the quarterfinals a couple of weeks ago, where we had two of our coaches, for those who don't know, in Alessandro and James, completing the quarterfinals, and they've done us really proud. With me today is a bunch of our members who's taken part in the Open, and this is going to be like a Open in review, just 2022, where we are, what we've experienced as athletes, and obviously looking forward towards the next year, what each of these lovely members' goals are for the next year, you know, how Dawn is helping them, how they find Dawn, the experience here with us in the classes, and also just touching on the level method and how they've used the level method to get to where they were in the Open. We are super proud of these people, and we always want to stress that for us it's not about the top tier athletes, but it's about our everyday weekend warriors as really busy lives. With us here we've got family people, parents, teachers. Actually, I just realised we've got a lot of teachers on this panel, people that's super busy. And then still carve out some time in their day and in their week to focus on their personal fitness. Obviously, they found that fitness community with us in Dawn. So, without any further ado, we're going to start. On the end with Wayne. Wayne, just a quick little one. Who are you? How long have you been at Dawn? Your little history with Dawn, and then how did you experience the Open?
Okay. Well, I'm Wayne. I'm a teacher. I teach around the corner over at St Bon's, same as Shahidur. And I was a member a couple of years ago, and sort of struggled with consistency. You know, I think I was one of these guys that sort of wanted to be RX and wasn't, and found, you know, scaling things difficult. And I was with a couple of guys who were hitters as well, and, you know, I found the whole thing challenging. I found just consistency was my enemy, really. And this gentleman here sort of egged me on to come and rejoin. Reeled me in. I rejoined at the 1st of November, and I just haven't looked back since. And I think it partly was my mindset before, but I think all the things gone on there, vibe at the box, the level method has been brilliant. I would say the change of coaches as well. You know, like, it's just been a very different feel, and I've absolutely loved it.
Excellent. So what do you think was that kind of like deciding factor to come back into it? Like, did you find that nothing out there was kind of like hitting the spot CrossFit used to, or was it just that finally you was just fed up again and like you want to get back into fitness?
A little bit of both, really. I always did miss CrossFit. There's nothing that I'd experienced in my life where you can get the gains, where you can just get someone, you turn up, someone does it all for you, all the thinking, all the planning, and you just hurt yourself. And I did miss that. But, I was a member of different gyms, and that kind of thing, no names mentioned. But yeah, I wasn't able to get any sort of consistency. I was going with the kids and stuff, and it's great, that they could go swimming and whatever else, but I wanted to just focus on myself, really.
Good.
Which you can do here.
Yeah, excellent stuff. We all now know Shahidur, so I'm going to take this mic. We're just going to skip through Shahidur. Like, if we can listen from him one more time, it'll be a bit too much, but it's just he has a pretty face today to kind of like attract all the members to listen.
Thanks for inviting me.
Pebbles.
Yes.
Welcome at your first little introduction.
Thanks.
Pebbles is also the only rose amongst our thorns today. It's not deliberate. We've had quite a few of our members that just couldn't make the day today. Pebbles, tell us a bit more about how you found Dawn, and how did you experience the Open?
Well, I was looking for something to do in terms of fitness because I was stressed all the time, and then just was turning into just like this lump essentially that wasn't doing much apart from just my job, home. And then like a mutual friend of ours actually was like, Pebbles, you need to try CrossFit.
Yes.
It's like, we've got a dad here at the school, he owns a box, like, you need to go and try it. And I was like, I was like, okay, and then did that thing looking on YouTube, like, what actually is it?
Which
and
is one
then
of the scariest things to do is to Google or YouTube what is CrossFit.
Yeah.
Right? Because the things that you see coming out from the internet is not necessarily what we do in the box.
It's very much like, I can't do any of that. Like coming from, like, I say zero fitness, I'd tried a few gyms, not like treadmill.
Yeah.
I had never picked up a barbell,
Okay.
a kettlebell, dumbbell.
Yeah. Did the light cardio that all the women
Yeah,
do,
just maybe
light
the
cardio,
stick, you
'cause
know,
they
that
don't wanna bulk
machine.
up. Yeah.
And nothing. Was going there, spending more time in there, or just getting there than actually doing anything. And then came here and was like, oh, I do like, because I'm very competitive.
Yes.
And so sometimes I avoid doing things if I know that I'm not going to come out
If I
on
can't
top.
win,
Like if I can't win it, then
not gonna play.
I'm not going to play. Yeah. But then here, everyone's so. Oh, of course, like we're competitive, which is why we then do like the oven and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But everyone's so focused on their own kind of goal and where they're at, and appreciates where other people are at as well, and can recognise when people have progressed a little bit, even if it's not, you know, I'm not doing a bar muscle up, but I've managed to but I've managed to, you know, do something that I hadn't done before. So I really enjoyed that, and then just got now I have to come.
Yes.
Like I have to come, otherwise I feel horrible.
So speaking of, like, you're not doing a bar muscle up yet, you are doing pull-ups though, which is something you haven't had before the Open.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us through that. Were you expecting to get a pull-up
No.
coming into the Open?
No, not at all. But the thing is, I'd done a goal review, and I was like, that's my goal. My goal is to get a pull-up, because they come up so often. And you're like, if I could get a pull-up, I could do so many other things. Like I could.
That's right.
You know, so I've been working on it, and then obviously saw the Open, the third workout in the Open was like, oh my goodness. Basically, at first it was like, well, I can't do a pull-up, so this is going to be, and then thought, let me look at scaled.
Yeah.
And then looked at scaled and was like, can't do a pull-up, like, so I can't actually, because you still need to get the pull-up. And then just looked at foundations. I was like, okay, and then I was like, you know, I'll give it a go, because I can do the first round, and then I'll just spend the rest of that time attempting a pull-up. And everyone thought that was a good idea. Like if it was the consensus that actually you needed to go down, then I would have. Like I would still enjoy it, still do whatever I got to do. But yeah, and then so finished that first round. And then everyone's like, right, come on.
You had so much time
I had so much time left. And I was like, okay, I've got to do it. And then the first one, it's just, I was attempting it the way that I'd always attempted it, which was not really.
Yeah.
Essentially, I'd never realised how much effort you actually need to put into it.
Okay. Yeah.
To get it.
Yes.
And it's like, and doing a kip-in pull-up, trying to do a kip-in pull-up, but forgetting that actually, if you don't use that kip, then you're trying to do a strict one.
Yes.
And then so I had loads of people saying like, look, because Jenny was right next to me doing her thing, and I was like, watch Jenny. I'm pretty sure, watch Jenny and do what she does. And I'm like,
who said that?
I'm pretty sure you did. I'm pretty sure you said,
do what Jenny's doing.
Do what Jenny's doing. I'm like, Jenny's doing a lot right now. But yeah, and then when I got it into my head that like, I didn't really feel, it wasn't a pressure. It was just that everyone was there and wanting it to happen.
Rush, right?
And I wanted it to happen. And then when it did happen, I was like, my goodness, I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, I remember like, you literally just collapsed onto the floor. Yeah, and
because it just felt so good.
Yeah.
It felt really, really good. And then everyone was like, right, back up and do another one. I'm like,
one's not enough. Yeah, you were ready to tap out.
I was like, I've got the one. Like that's all we was going for, wasn't it? That one pull up. But it felt so good, and it's just kind of made me think about maybe it's not easy to recreate any of that Open vibe.
Yes.
Stuff just happens.
Yes.
At the Open, and you hear everyone say it, and you're like, this is going to sound really cheesy because I'm the Open, the spirit, the magic of the Open.
Yeah.
But it really is, because I was saying, like, I don't feel like I put maybe as much effort or.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm not actually putting in a lot of effort in during the WOD. It's just that it just isn't the same.
Yeah. Also remember that we are building, that we always have to build towards something. So sitting in a normal workout environment and normal classes, we need to have something kind of focus on.
Exactly.
So, and that's why it's always easy for us to kind of focus on the Open, because it's such a big event for us that we always, people's attention is pulled towards that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a fair point that you say. Is that when we're in a normal class environment, it isn't always easy to build a focus, and that's why the goal reviews and the level method, that there are these mini moments that we can say like, hey guys, in 2 months from now, we are reassessing for a reassessment week. It's time to kind of level up. And then there's always, all of a sudden, there's something to show up for, get out of bed for. Because unfortunately, the Open is only once a year, right?
It is. But like you said, in terms of the level method and the assessments and stuff, like we just had one now for like our 20 rep max.
That's right.
Back squat.
How's your back feel?
And again, it's you know, it's all right. It's all right. Okay. That was today. But it's that whole thing of like next week I know I'm going for this, and so it does get you going, wanting you to do a little bit more.
Touch on. Can you quickly just touch? You can remind me. You did compete in Girls Gone RX last year with us, didn't you?
Yeah. So that was
your first.
Yeah, that was my first experience, and it was like that was really good though. I was so scared, and I have this thing, and I think like Shahidur like potted me up in his little podcast when he was like, Pebbles is going around saying none of us are going to make it like into the games, so why don't you just chill out? But I have this thing where I'm really calm. Like when I enter competition, I'm like, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And I try and just talk it down and be like, it's okay. But then inside, I'm like, whoa.
It's the swan effect, right? So you're really just looking like, but you're paddling. Like
thinking, oh no. And then as I got closer up to this first competition, I was like, I feel sick. I'm looking at. But then as soon as the day came and you saw everyone that was taking part and the fact that it was for such a good cause really helped, I think. And it was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, and it hurt a lot.
Yes.
Because I was, it's that I wasn't prepared for the adrenaline rush that happened.
But that's got your hook in, do you think? And did that kind of like change the way you looked at the Open as pure competition, or was that kind of like all done and dusted and you kind of like started refocusing on the Open or something?
Yeah, kind of. I'm always trying to get a bit better or do a bit better than what I did in the last kind of competition, but also trying to calm myself down because in my head, I want to beat everyone.
Yeah.
Like I want to smash everyone.
Yeah.
And that's, if I'm not winning it.
Yeah.
But actually, it's that whole thing of no.
Yeah.
Where are you now?
Yeah. Yes.
And okay, so you've done a little bit better. Even if you stayed consistent, it's fine. Like, and then thinking, right, well, you know what? Then this time I've done this. Next time, this is what I'm aiming for, and just kind of being realistic, with your goals, but also dreaming big still.
Absolutely, and you should. And so, and we are going to touch base on that later on. Like, what's our goals going to be for the next year, looking forward. Joao, over to you. You're quite new to Dawn compared to most of the people here on the box. So just tell us more about you, how you found us, just your athletic experience before you actually joined Dawn, your CrossFit experience, and then, how you found the Open at Dawn.
Yeah, so I'm Joao. I'm an estate area manager for a housing association. I've been in the Dawn I entered in November, 1st of November, and I've been about 5 months. When I came, how I found it, I was looking for a gym because I was new to the area, and I was just...
You just moved into the area, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah. And I was walking my dog, and I was just seeing people running around the box, shutters open, and I'm like, oh, that looks hardcore. And that's like intense. Then after I went Google, I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, this looks fun. I wanted something that would push me, but I wouldn't get punched in the face because I used to do Thai boxing.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I thought, then I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is for me.
So am I right in assuming that you didn't do any CrossFit until you joined us? This was your first CrossFit experience, or have you tasted CrossFit before you came?
Yes, I tasted a little bit, but I was only doing it for endurance when I was fighting at the time. I just needed some endurance and strength, so I did it for about 2-3 months for my camp before I fought.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I did a little bit, but then afterwards, because you get bulky.
Yes.
And I would fight at featherweight, and I didn't 65 kilos. If I was building mass,
that's right.
Cutting down mass would be very hard for me.
Yeah.
So I just stopped weight. I stopped literally weights when I used to do Thai boxing.
Yeah.
So I don't like being skinny. I don't like cutting weight, and I like eating.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, this sounds good. I can eat how much I want.
Work hard.
and I can work hard.
I think one of the first things that's really like standing out for me is actually being in the reception area with in a morning class, and after a couple of cues from Alessandro, you did your first ring muscle up. just out of nowhere, which really grabbed a lot of people's attention. Since then, obviously, you've really got to poured yourself into the CrossFit. And am I correct in assuming you did the whole open
RX? Yes.
Yep. And how did you find that? How was your experience on that?
Yeah, so the first week was hard for me. Like, them wall walks were hard.
Wall walks, yeah.
And I
It's probably a movement that you've never really encountered before.
Yes.
Joining CrossFit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I found it really hard. Then after, it was like the second week, I think it was down to me as well. I wasn't taking it seriously. I just thought, come on in and I'm just going to do it. Then after that, I saw everyone at the gym.
Yeah.
I saw how serious they were taking. And I'm like, you need to step up.
Okay.
And then after the second week, I'm like, okay, I need to step up. And after the last week, Wayne came up to me. He's like, oh, you and Greg are like so close to each other. And I was at home on YouTube checking for the third week. And I'm like, please let me something, I'm good. Then after that, I saw pull-ups and I'm like, good luck, boys.
So within 3 weeks, you went from like, oh, let's just have some fun to, oh my God, people are taking this really seriously to, oh my God, I just want to smash Wayne. Whenever we look at Wayne, everybody goes like, oh, we just want to smash Wayne. Oh my God.
But that's the good thing, because it's like, which I think is important. Like, I'm happy when, like, if Wayne gets a pull-up, I'm happy for that. But that keeps me accountable. I'm like, okay, now I need to chase him.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, he would chase me.
Yeah.
You go, oh, he's done that, now I'm chasing him. I think that's like that good competitive.
Yeah.
Like, we're looking for each other, but at the same time, we want to beat each other. It's like having a younger brother or older brother trying to beat each other all the time.
And again, like our hashtag is we rise by lifting others. And I think that's a common thread for us in Dawn is like, by supporting you, by pushing you, we rise, we get better because nobody wants to be left behind.
I remember the first day we met and you said, why you come in here? And I said, look, I kind of know my way around the gym. I know what I'm doing. But I know if I go to the gym, I'll just lift weights. I don't have no one like kind of pushing me. So what I'm doing today, I guarantee you, if I was in at a normal gym for 5 months, I wouldn't be doing a muscle up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. So I think the community and the people, like if people see this process, wow, he achieved so quickly, it's about the people and the coaches around me.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. Then on to probably the first time I can ever say this, to the oldest person on this panel today. Like I'm usually the oldest one, so Sharad, the only reason I invited you over is that there's another bald man that's older than me in the gym. Looks younger than me. He does look younger than me.
Thank you.
Sharad, just again for us, just like who are you? You know, like how long have you been with us, and how did you experience the Open?
Hi, I'm Sharad. I'm probably one of the older statesmen in here. I'm 50. I think I came CrossFit about 3-4 months before the lockdown came. My background, I work in the NHS as an anaesthetist. It's quite intense. Fitness-wise, I've had a good engine. I cycle to work. I run to work. I was in a local gym, but I think in local gyms you just see and then you follow and you don't really know. And I think you play to your strengths in these local gyms. You know, you would rather complete a 5K run at a very slowish time than like here where you do a 10-minute workout and you're nearly throwing up your guts. And you never think you can do that in 10 minutes. How I joined, I would look at CrossFit, but there wasn't a local CrossFit near me until I saw this place. And again, like you were, and I popped over and I saw shutters open. I thought, okay. I remember my first session was with Tina, and she put me through double unders, and I think I got 1 or 2, and I was surprised. For me, the box is just a happy place. It really is. I'm not too adventurous, but here, everyone is great. Everyone has something they're good at. When I came, I had squats were garbage. There was no pull-ups. I'm still hunching over.
Way better now than you did.
But follow the process. That was a big thing for me. Just show up, follow the process. And it's even the Open. Everyone kept saying, "Have you joined?" And I was like, "Yes," and I never had. I had no intention of joining. I was like, you got all these athletes in here, And here I am, and I said, no, I'm not going to. And then I think in the last day I joined, and the first session was just amazing, wasn't it? It was beyond understanding, and people were doing things that they never thought they could. And there's two big moments for me in this Open. One was Pebbles. I was saying when she got the muscle, it stopped. The competition stopped for like everyone, and we just went, oh, is the celebration starting now?
Yeah.
And then Ali screamed at me. I thought, oh yes, well, here
I still have a workout.
Here I am. And then I think it was the third session where I was on the last part and I was spent. And then there was you, Ali, Teen, everyone just started screaming at me like I'd committed the biggest crime in the world. And more reps came out.
Yeah.
To me, this place is more than a fitness box. There's just great people here, you know. And the environment is different. You know, the 6 o'clockers. You know, we four of us on here. Yeah, you know, the 6 a.m.ers, and it's like you got to wonder why we're here at 6. You know, all the bars are cold because I do different classes according to my work, and I'm here at 12 o'clock, and the sun's shining, the bars are warm, and I'm, you know. But yeah, so and then when I came, you know, I had wooden plates. When I was starting, I thought, oh, you got these guys, girls, lifting heavy, and I'm on a wooden plate. But the process works, and then you see new people come, and you can see the same thought in their eyes, and then they change, and you know, slowly they start building. But it's amazing, and now it's like it's part of our lives. I think, you know, there's not a day that if it's like 6, I'm here. Even at work, you know, I see people that are sad and they're not happy. I say, get in a box, because this box especially, but I think probably all boxes, we don't care who you are, we don't care of your age, we don't care what you do. You come in and the workout is all set up for you, and you go at it.
That's right.
And no one puts any equipment away before everybody's finished.
That's right.
If you've got some breathing in you, because I'm usually lying down, gasping for air. Yeah, you know, so that's where it is for me. You know, I enjoy it, whatever it is. You know, I'm a feeder in this box, I've been told now.
Yes. And stop.
You know, but hey,
I think maybe that's your game plan, is just feed everybody
everybody.
So that you have got the best physique.
Absolutely, I am trying.
You are giving us more of that lovely stuff.
But I do have to remember the age, 'cause the recovery does take more time now. My goal is just to continue. I just enjoy it so much here that, I think now the next goal is technique for me. That's my thing, because I have an engine and I can run all day and night long. It's just now the technique, the squats, the back, and so forth. That's me.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. Nice segue there onto what our focus is for the next year. So you want to hand the mic back. What's our next 6 months? What's your plan? If I have to put you on the spot right now, Joao, what do you want to achieve in the next 6 months?
Be my weightlifting. I think I got a gas tank, but with me weightlifting, anything over my head, snatches, overhead squats, I struggle with them. So if I want to get into like quarterfinals next year,
which is a definite. That's our aim, right? Like,
He said it.
He said it now, so it's going to be there.
Yeah.
It's on the camera
So,
now.
Yeah, so if that's what I'm looking for, that's what I need to focus on, because I looked at the quarterfinal and half of the stuff I look at, I'm like, I couldn't do half of that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Pebbles, for you, what's your focus?
It's still like I still want to. Like getting a couple of pull-ups in the open is one thing, but actually being confident in being able to actually just keep repping them out. So I'm still working on that, working on my strength to do like a strict pull-up, which would then help those kicks with everything else. And then it's weightlifting, it's the technique. Everyone always looks at me and says, you should be able to lift so much, like you should be able to lift, more than you do. And I have to keep telling everyone.
The case is because you're stronger, you want to pull harder
And
as
you
opposed
do.
to using the technique. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then when you're in a workout, you're just like, I want to go as fast as possible, and so kind of working on my technique so that I can, just do things better, which will then hopefully lead to lifting heavier. Really.
Can we start talking about next year's Open? Do you think you'll be ready to try and complete some of those workouts, if not all of those RX?
I did 2 of them RX.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I only did one
weird.
that wasn't
Okay.
RX. So can we just? I think I would. To be fair, I was very surprised that I could do 2 of them RX.
Yeah.
I was fully expecting to go in at scaled, even like foundations, because I just wanted to go in and be able to do the workout really, no matter what level it was. But I think my next thing, rather than the Open, is kind of like, so like Girls Gone RX.
Yeah.
To potentially do Girls Gone RX at RX,
Yes.
which would be something that I would be interested in. So that's kind of, But then the Open, it'd be nice to be able to do them all RX. That last one, it stung a little bit. So
I think this is the perfect time to also just talk about, we're talking about competitions. We're really looking forward to Girls Gone RX that we're going to host late in the year around September. But between now and then, what we're really trying to start achieving is like mini moments to look forward to, like the Open, like a Girls Gone RX competition. So we don't have the dates just yet, but by the time that this podcast is going to come out, you should already know the date. We are looking to do another in-house competition, inviting CrossFit Bermondsey, Hammersmith, and potentially now a third box is going to join us in a mixed pair competition at dawn. That's going to be amazing. We're actually going to grab boys and girls together in a mixed pairs, and we are going to try and set it up via the level method, so the colours would compete against each other. Because we also know that CrossFit Bermondsey uses the level method, so it's just going to make things a lot more interesting, that there will be some kind of leagues to kind of compete into, and something for us to look forward to in the next month and a half to kind of start getting ourselves geared up for that. So it should be exciting. Finally, we're going to allow the man to speak.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Looking back, obviously, the last time we spoke was just right after a workout. And you was just buzzing.
Beer in hand. I didn't realise I had a beer in my hand.
That's great.
I'm an athlete.
I'm an athlete. Now with obviously a couple of weeks of hindsight and stuff, if you have to sum up your Open, what would that be? Like, how did you experience it? And
I really enjoyed it, every second of it. I think I started off, I did the first workout on a Friday in here, really intimate. Wayne, I'll tell you why.
Talk to us about
I'll tell you why. Like I said, I'm not that competitive, I'm quite relaxed, but then fight week came, the anxiety was crippling. Like Wayne was like, stop talking to me. Like, I was like, seriously, the anxiety was off the chain. And what I thought was, if I do it on a Friday, it's done. I can sleep easy.
So what happened, just for everybody else, so what happened basically? He lied to me saying that
That's
got
not
some
true.
sort of plan.
I did actually go out.
He couldn't attend the Saturday big day, and could we facilitate him on the Friday, which I believed and agreed to until he tried to do it again the following week, and then I called on to you.
You did, you called me out. No, but I really enjoyed the Open. It was really good fun. The vibe in here was amazing, wasn't it? Like, I think everyone's alluded to it. I just thought I'm not a competitive person. So to find myself feeling to find myself feeling competitive, or to check the leaderboards, like constantly checking the leaderboards. Like I put my score in that first week on a Friday. It was insane. I was like, God, I'm going to the quarterfinals. And then like this Monday evening is really depressing, wasn't it? It's just like, oh gosh, it's a really, really sad time. But I know everything about it, and I found myself getting competitive, and that's what takes me, it's giving me some actual goals, because I'm one of those people that hasn't done a goal review.
And that's going to talk about the goal review.
No, but exactly, and I know that, and that's why, because I was like, I come here to stay fit, but actually, I feel like it's sparked some sort of like competitive, and again, not horrible, not a horrible competitive element, but just with myself, like Pebbles, I did 2 workouts RX. And once you've done 2, you want to do the third, don't you? Like,
Of course you do.
and then just in your head, you're like, All right, well, that's something I'd like to do. And it's more the competition with yourself. Again, I think that's something this place fosters in a really healthy way. You know, it's not a crippling anxiety. It's just that's what I'd like to achieve over the next year. Everything about the Open, I said to you, I was worried about it being on a Saturday morning instead of a Friday night, but it was fantastic. Got chatting with everyone. So many new people having a good time. It was just a really, really cool thing to do on a Saturday morning. I came down with the whole family. I made it work. It was really good competition.
On this note, quickly, just show of hands, who has booked their goal reviews or who has had a goal review, either with myself or any of the other coaches? You booked one, yeah? There's the other one.
I'm lying. I haven't.
So if we just take a moment and talk about that, guys, the goal review for us is really just a quick moment to check in on what it is that we're going to do for the next 8 weeks only. I think sometimes we get so paralyzed with these big dreams, these big movements a year from now, that we sometimes just feel like this is way too big a mountain, and then we kind of discount ourselves. We pull ourselves out of this kind of progression. The goal review is really just to sit down with either myself or one of the other coaches and having a 20-minute conversation and focusing on two little things, two easy things for the next 8 weeks that we can focus on that will just level you up on one little step towards those big goals, towards those pull-ups. And I think it also just by sitting down and having that conversation, it actually just gets stuck in your head and you start focusing on it, like we did with the pull-up that then turned into a pull-up, albeit and admittedly way earlier than any one of us thought it would show up. But you started working towards it because there was a game plan. We had a game plan, we wrote it down and we stuck to it. So please do not be scared of the goal reviews. It's really just there for us to touch base with you, see whether we are still on the right track and perhaps tweak. Maybe for some of our members, CrossFit three times a week is not the answer. Maybe for you, it must be like taking a step back and just getting into surging, getting that engine back and losing a couple of pounds before we get back into CrossFit. It might be that you feel that you might need some more personal training and hands-on, and that gets delivered in either an hour or half-hour sessions. So it's not always, a quick fix. It might just be that we give you some homework. One of the fun things that we talk about is kettle exercises, things you can do while the kettle is boiling. Little small things repeated every single day that will build volume, that will build the strength that you need for that first pull-up or that first decent push-up. So please do not shy away from goal reviews. And these guys on camera has now all agreed that they will book their goal reviews today before we leave, right? Yes, excellent.
Absolutely.
Right. Wayne. I've had one. Yes, you did. And talk about that. So you've had your goal review. What came up in that goal review? What was those couple of things that you want to focus on for the next few months?
Yeah, well, I thought the goal review was brilliant. I had mine with James, and I think partly I talked about the mindset issue before. I came back. I was like, saw people doing muscle ups. Like, I want a muscle up. That looks like the coolest thing in the world. They just look brilliant. But what I've realised now is that you've got to have the steps. We've talked about all the things that we're weak at. My weightlifting is also like pretty ugly. But with the muscle up, I didn't even have pull-ups at that time. So you got to get pull-ups, then you got to get chest to bars, then you got to get your technique, your hip hop, and so there's all these things. And I just think the level method and the goal review, James just sort of sat me down and was like, well, you're here, you're going to need to get this, this, and this, and it's just steps, and the whole thing, just keep turning up. But obviously mobility was a big factor for me. It's my lowest level by miles, but already I'm making improvements just by doing classes and doing everything that I'm doing. So I found it really motivating, and also what was quite surprising was how well your coaches know you. Like he was looking at some of my levels and was like, well, you're better than that, you need to reassess that. Went and did it, and got a couple more levels and whatever. So the coaches know what they're talking about.
Surprise.
No, they absolutely do. Yeah.
Wayne, so thinking about next year's Open, obviously because we're in the same age group, if you start thinking about next year's Open workouts, well, what's your goals there? Is it just to beat me, or is it to have an actual goal?
No, I'm not even going to be silly about this, but being in your age group, especially when we did that 22.2, together, and you just hugged me and said, we're going together. Yeah. It's humbling. It's humbling to see somebody, do that workout as well as you did it, at our age. And it was great. Really was. Your strategy, everything, your pacing was just brilliant. You know, I knew that I was doing that with just please don't hurt my back, please don't hurt my back.
Yeah.
You know, because I've done it so many times.
That's right. So, and that's what we went into that workout and not trying to hurt your lower back. And, and that was success.
Yeah. And I think for me, this Open was like feeling my way through. The wall walks in 22.1 were almost a disaster every single time. Like honestly, it was like leap of faith time. Because you know, you do wall walks in a workout, and you know you're walking up, but then that 10-inch line was a game changer for me. It was like, okay, this is awful now, and I just felt like I was going to topple over every time. So, and then 20. You know, I managed to RX all three, but I got lucky. You know, I got dubs about 2 weeks before 22.3 came out, and I managed to get pull up. So yeah, that was good. But to be honest, I'm not after you. I'm after him next year. You know, yeah, he's nearer, so I'll take a smaller chunk. I can't go after you just yet.
Fair enough, mate. No, if you play your cards right, I'll be in a wheelchair by next year.
Sharad will just keep feeding you. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah.
You're just aiming to run.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. I mean, really amazing just to listen to everybody and where we are. And I think we can all agree that Dawn has definitely taken a step up in the last couple of, especially in the last year or so, since the last lockdown and opening up. And it's like we found our value, we found our niche, and we're going for it hard. And the proof is in the pudding. We're just leveling up and we're really doing well. So from an owner and a /coach point of view, we're just so appreciative of you guys trusting us with your fitness. And long may this journey continue. We're going to wrap up with just passing the mic around again one more time, and I want you just to take a second. And it's okay, I'm going to put you on the spot now, Wayne, because you're the one with the mic right now. But if you can sum up your experience or Dawn, or your thoughts about Dawn and the community here in a couple of words, what would that be?
Community. It's just an amazing community. Shahidur talks about it with the Open. It was a chance. You know, I go to 7 a.m. I've done the odd 6 a.m. but you guys are crazy. 7 a.m. for me, and you obviously know all your people there, but it was a chance to just get to know everybody from all the other different sort of times that they attend. Chat to people that I didn't really know, and it was just awesome. The whole thing was awesome for me.
Thank you very much.
I was gonna say it's great adult fun, but that sounds naughty, and I don't mean that. But I just mean but you know what I mean? I'm like, we're adults, and it's really, and I think we've alluded to it, like, work's hard, it's stressful, but you come in here, and it is, like, I look forward to coming to the gym.
Yeah.
I look forward to being competitive with friends. I look forward to saying, does somebody want to do an open gym? And there's always somebody who wants to, like, it is, like, as an adult, it's a rare thing to find, but that's also beneficial. Like, I could find 10 people who would go to the pub with me right now, and we could spend 4 hours in the pub, and I'd have a great time. I can come in here for an hour and I go home and I've still had a great time.
Yeah.
And it's a real weird thing to say, and I don't think everyone will understand this. But it's true, like, I come in here and I go away and I'm like, oh, that was really good. Like, I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
And as an adult, when life's busy, family, work, it's nice. And like you said, you can go to the gym with your kids, and that's a lovely thing to do. But it's also nice just to invest in yourself, right?
Yeah,
I think that's one thing that this place allows us and facilitates me to do. So I'm very appreciative of it.
Excellent. Thank you.
I think what CrossFit kind of Dawn gives me is just kind of confidence in what I can do and what I can potentially do. I would never, before this, I'd never even think of going into any weightlifting section of the gym at all, because why? No, it seems stressful. It seems like I don't know what I'm doing. But if that was something I wanted to do, then I would. I'd go back. I'd go to a gym. I'd fully feel like I was able to go and pick some weights and know what I need to do. But also, it's that idea of when you think that you can't do it, and you're looking at it and you think, just knowing that, you've got, these guys that saying, oh, I think you can, actually. And like a coach going, no, you, like, this is you've got this. Just having that support, and sometimes that, people giving you that confidence when it doesn't necessarily, when it's not really there yet. But just having people that believe in what you can do now, and what you can do in the future is really a game changer.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I think was when the first day we met, and you were speaking to me about the level method, and I'm like, okay, I think CrossFit has professionalized themselves, because mixed martial arts, when you go and do jiu-jitsu, you just don't go in and just start doing a rear naked choke. You have to start white belt.
Yes.
Same thing over here now.
Yeah.
We've got a level method.
let's see where you're at, and then obviously you progress. Just like martial arts, which I think is great because everyone knows where they're at and knows where they can go. So that's the first thing when I came in. And the second thing is, for me, is just like most of my family are back home. I got some cousins and uncles, but you know, everyone's such a busy life. I'm local, so when I come here, this is like my second family in the UK. So I come here, have a good time with everyone, push everyone, joke everyone around. So yeah, this is Dawn for me. This is good.
I'll touch outside. I think in the world we live in now, with all the professions that we have to be a certain way. We kind of like have to put a mask on. We cannot just be ourselves because it's not acceptable. It's no forth. And I do a lot of classes across the day, depending on where my work is. And I think the one thing for me is there's no mask. You come in here and you are who you are, and no one judges. Everyone accepts, you know, and the coaches are great. And you just be yourself and you have the best time that you have here. And you've worked out. You kind of forget that you've actually worked out. Because you come in happy, you go out of here happy, and you think, hold on a minute, I'm sweating profusely because I've really worked out. But it was so much fun, and you didn't have to worry about how you communicate, how you talk, because no one's rude. You know, they might, you know, you might get the coaches effing at you to get that pull up, get that PB or whatever it is. But for me, it's that our time where you can just be yourself and work out. And that's what I promote about, especially the Dawn and the community, is it's kind of like we'll help your mental well-being also, and your fitness. You know, the fitness will come, that's the process. I think we've all said it works. But it's the speciality for me is the mental well-being that it will give you. And move you forward in life. You know, that's where for me it is.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sharad. Yeah, guys, I think this is the wrap for us. A couple of little things just before we go. Next few weeks for us, there is a lot of testing going on in the level method. There's a lot of lifting going on behind the wall. But make sure that you get yourself a goal review booked in. Let's get ourselves sorted out. Let's know what the next 8 weeks is going to look like for you personally and what we need to focus on. There's this big competition just around the corner. The summer is just around the corner. And that will obviously bring some more barbecues and just some lazy days on Saturday afternoons. If perhaps you are a person watching this that's not a member of Dawn and you do live in the area, feel free to click on our links in our bios or in the descriptions down this little video. And just come in for a no sweat chat and see if it's something that we can help you with. In the meantime, please like, share and subscribe. Sound very YouTubey. Until next time, bye. Awesome, guys, that was fucking amazing. Thank you so much.
Nice one, team.
1 second before everybody goes.
That was lovely at the end.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Good wrap up, isn't it?